Hey everyone, this is Psychedelic Actualization. On this channel we talk about topics like self-realization, self-actualization and working with psychedelics to live a more authentic and fulfilling life. Welcome back. This is the third video of my Ayahuasca series where I report back from my 14-day Ayahuasca retreat in the retreat center La Luna de la Amazonia near Iquitos. And in this video I'll report back my second ceremony, the third ceremony and the fourth ceremony. So the completion of the first week of the retreat. And I will try to keep it short. Actually, what do you guys prefer? Do you prefer that I go with a little bit of longer videos, like the first experience that I reported back, with more details? Or do you prefer a little bit shorter videos, a little bit more condensed, but missing some details of those experiences? Please let me know in the comment section down below. Also, in the video description there's a link if you want to prepare for your first ayahuasca experience or for any ayahuasca experience and you don't know, you're not sure about the diet or the preparation. I put together a worksheet that you can download for free. It's in the video description and it's pinned in the comments as well. So if you want, you can download that. So let's get into it. Really quick and condensed. Second ceremony. In a sense, like in all those ceremonies, not much happened at all. I mean, a lot of stuff happened and I went through a lot of stuff, but generally, like not much happened at all. The second night, even though it was a bigger dose than the first one, the first introductory dose, right? It was a soft experience. It was coming on very gently. And I was just repeating mantras in my head to keep myself present. I was feeling the vibrations in my body, like coming on very slowly. And like it was just a 2-hour purge preparation. I felt the purge preparing itself. And I was just waiting for it. Because when I feel, like when I really intensely feel that the purge is preparing itself, it like kind of puts me really into my body and I cannot really fully let go into an out-of-body experience. So I was just waiting for it, and then it was a very really like soft purge and shit. It's like the first 4 nights it was just purging and shitting at the same time. That is also because it was black ayahuasca. I figured that out like way later after my retreat, that the first week we had black ayahuasca, and black ayahuasca is popular for its heavy physical effects. It's like a very heavy purge, very physical. You purge and you shit a lot, and I totally felt that, and I do not prefer that, I have to say that. So, but this one was a very soft purge and shit. It was just like at the same time, and that was it. Nothing special happened anymore that night. And I was kind of happy that not much happened, that it wasn't as intense as the first night, but my desire to go deeper was still there. Because I wanted to feel more, you know, this felt very distant. Even though I was in a little bit of a heightened state of consciousness, it didn't felt very personal. The ayahuasca, the medicine, felt very distant. Still, like the whole night was physically, mentally and emotionally draining and exhausting. Because like you kind of fast the whole day, you prepare for the experience. And even though one of my intentions was to fully let go and to let go of all expectations, in the back of my mind there's still, when I go into ceremony, a little anticipation, a little expectation that this is one of the most powerful psychedelics on earth and maybe something profound will happen. And so there is this subconscious anticipation, and you're preparing yourself and you're preparing your body with the fast and your mind with your intentions for those experiences. And then sometimes it is just like that. Nothing happens at all. And at like 1 o'clock, after like 5-6 hours, the shamans, they're always leaving the space, going home, sleeping, you know. And what was interesting is I noticed like the vibe, the atmosphere of the whole space changed after they left, because I was still like feeling the effects of the ayahuasca. And it was a little bit of a weird feeling, because they're there to protect you from the brujos and from the bad spirits, kind of. And who knows what kind of spirits can enter the space after they left. Well, but then I just fell asleep. So that was second night. Then we had a 1-day break. It was really nice to just relax and recover a little bit. And then the third night began the day after. It was again more medicine, a little bit of a bigger dose. This time it was not just one gulp of like, but it was 1.5. It was nasty. And because it was so nasty, and because kind of my body knows before the ceremony, like even 2 hours before I drink, I get kind of nauseous because my stomach knows what's gonna come. And my whole body is kind of knowing what it's gonna encounter. And after I drank, I immediately felt nauseous. I immediately felt the need to throw up when it hit my stomach. But at this time, because then there's no chance that the effects fully unfold, I was trying to hold it in, just holding it in for a bit. And it was coming on strong. It was coming on really strong. And at the come on, I was kind of singing rainbow songs in my head. For example, this one. It's like, in this sacred space is where I open my eyes to see the light. In this sacred space is where I open my heart to feel the love. In this sacred space is where I open up and become one. And this song and those mantras kind of guide me into the experience, because those words are kind of deeply meaningful, and repeating them kind of, at least that's what I think, they help me to manifest that realization and that vibe that I want to create, or those insights that I want to contemplate. Well, but it just rose to a certain level and then it just stayed there. It plateaued, and it was an expanded state of consciousness that I was in, but there was still no specific teaching. I was still not receiving anything. It was still not very personally meaningful, that experience. So I just contemplated different topics with no special insight. For example, I was contemplating oneness, but I was just thinking about oneness, but I was not experiencing it. So that was going on for a little while. One interesting thing is I noticed I had the ability to visualize stuff. So the visualization was very interesting.
When I would think of something, this image would like come up. So I was thinking of oneness, I was thinking like of the whole earth, and I kind of saw the earth. I was thinking of the Milky Way, I saw the Milky Way. I was thinking of the universe, I saw the universe, but not like in an astounding wonderment sense. I remember some images came up, but that's the thing with the images, for example, of a jaguar or toucan. It's like, do they show up because ayahuasca is showing it to me, or because I'm imagining them? Is it just like the ayahuasca or the imagination? Because it's like I could think of a pink elephant right now and it would show up as an image. What does the animal spirit guidebook have to say about that, Yeah. So images came up. I don't remember any specific ones.
And in this whole experience, there were also moments of deep peace, of deep relaxation, of a deep out breath, and of just like being, of like just Satchitananda, existence, consciousness or awareness and bliss. Just those moments were also there in that experience. Very subtle, but they were definitely there. And I was listening to those beautiful icaros from the shamans. I kind of really came to appreciate those songs. I really admire them. Like really beautiful icaros.
Pero ¿de dónde vienen esos cánticos, esas oraciones tan bonitos, tan sagrados, con mucha fuerza? Viene porque realmente lo necesitamos. De la profundidad de la tierra, de los montes, de los bosques más sagrados, más poderosos. Todo eso hace que las cosas se unen, las fuerzas, y salga esa melodía para poder ayudar a cada paciente. Y cada persona vaya feliz y vaya contento con diferentes cosas que ella siente. Eso hace la medicina.
And the nausea was not present in that whole experience. After I was holding it in at the beginning, it was kind of faded away after an hour or so, and I could kind of ease into the out-of-body experience a little bit more. And it is remarkable, I have to say, even though those experiences were not as intense. It is remarkable how far it takes me out of my body. This kind of feeling drunk a little bit, you know?
It was like taking me so far out of my body that it's hard to even like open my eyes. Not to say to sit up or to stand up. That's why you kind of feel so drunk in a sense. It's interesting, it's remarkable. It's hard to open the eyes because it's like boom, going deeper into the space. Closed eyes, leaving the body in a sense behind, because you're in this heightened infinite space of consciousness.
And one interesting thing happened in the night. There was either it was a bird or probably a bat was flying through the room, and it was flying like right next to my ear. And I was like kind of focusing, being inside, being kind of out of my body, and then like boom, this bat came, and it was just like a shock all of a sudden.
It's like, whoa, what was that? It like shook me and brought me back to the present moment. I was a little bit scared, but like, oh, interesting. And then the next time my friend told me, like, I had this weird experience that I hear like a bat or a bird, boom, flowing right next to me. It's like, oh no, what the fuck? I had the same experience.
And then the purge and the shit was preparing itself again, and I was waiting for it. And at one point I thought it would come, so I took my bucket, I went to the toilet, and it didn't want it to come, so I even had to wait like 20 minutes on the toilet. A facilitator even came. I was like, "There you go, like, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay." Just waiting for the purge. And it was a bad one. It was a really nasty purge.
And then finally, like the moments before the purge, it's like for me the most uncomfortable ones. You get hot, like feeling it gets really intense, like you're feeling shaking a little bit, and it didn't want to come. Concentration, it didn't want to come. But finally, like after a long process, it came, and I was vomiting like even these broccoli pieces out that we ate for dinner. That was kind of nasty. It was the nastiest purge, definitely. Tasted so bad. And also, like, I was shaking and purging and shaking. It's not a comfortable experience. It's hardcore, but it's nice.
So one of the main lessons I take away from this experience is chew your food better. It's very important. Very key insight. So I went back to bed and I was coming down. I was just being in the space a little bit more, not knowing what to do with it, other than just to be with it and accept it as it is. And I think it was the most enjoyable journey so far out of the first 3 journeys, because it was more peaceful than the first one that was very chaotic. You can watch the experience right here. And it was more intense than the second one. So it was just like a little bit the most enjoyable so far, even though it was still very exhausting. And one thing was really nice. At the end of each ceremony, like after 5-6 hours, the shamans, they go around to everybody and they sing like a personalized Ikaro for everybody, and they make like a personal healing at the end of the ceremony for everybody. And it is very interesting that you're feeling something. Like sometimes they ask you like if you're able to sit up and to just receive the healing and the blessing. But if you're not, like, or if you're sleeping, if you're out of your body, they just do it anyways. But this time I was able to sit up and to fully receive it. And like, I felt the immediate difference in the whole field of my body. So even though they are just singing a song and just like swaying around with some bushes or something, they have a deep impact upon you. It's very interesting art of healing, because it's like in our traditional Western scientific health system, we would not think of that way of healing because it's such a different kind of healing, but it has a deep impact. Some people, I even saw, like when they were receiving the healing, all the effects intensified and they were purging again all of a sudden, even though they thought their journey was over. So very interesting, the personalized healing, really nice ones. And after the shamans left, I still felt like, again, like after the second night, even though like the whole vibe changed, it was weird stuff. And then fourth night, last night in that week, it was a rainy day, very hardcore storm, thunder, lightning bolts, crazy stuff. And this one was just emotionally exhausting and very difficult journey for myself. And I don't know why. So it was basically just repeating what happened in the second and the third one with more discomfort. So it was a little bit of a bigger dose again with less effects. I was repeating my mantra. This time I chose I am loving awareness because I was reading a book from Ram Dass earlier that day. So it's just repeating I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. And it was funny. You can see here that was a building we were in, and the roof was kind of broken, and it was raining a little bit inside. Just like a little bit, that's just like a few drops, but I felt them coming on me, so I felt that it was raining on me, and in my state, I just embraced it. I was like, oh, this is funny, this is nice. I just embraced the rain. There were not much singing going on. It was a very silent night. You could just hear the storm, but no beautiful Icaros, which was kind of sad because I didn't feel that much, so I just wanted to hear the Icaros at least, but there was not much singing going on, which was kind of sad. And it was a really, really late purge and shit. Very, very deep one. I don't know what the ayahuasca is doing, but it's picking up stuff from deep inside you. It's not a usual vomiting, just not a usual throwing up. It's a very deep purge and a very deep shit that you're doing right there. Crazy stuff, just crazy stuff. And after that I was just trying to sleep. And I was in a bad state of mind in that whole ceremony, and it was really interesting because I was there, I was there to experience the medicine. And all of a sudden it was such a difficult time the whole first week, and I was just trying to accept it. But even though in the ceremony even desires came up in the fourth ceremony, I mean, this is kind of a teaching. But I was thinking about good food, like craving the craving of comfort. I was thinking about making money with crypto, or just like an easy life, tasting really delicious spicy food, watching anime or something. And I was thinking about those cravings during the ceremony, which was just crazy. Like I wanted it to be over, to indulge in instant gratification again. And I was astounded by myself of these cravings that came up. So I was just surprised that I was in such a bad state of mind, and that like I didn't knew why I was in such a bad state of mind. And that was basically it. Fourth ceremony also, I was observed a shaman running around outside. It was a crazy thunderstorm, but one of the shamans, he was just like with a lighter going around outside, and I didn't know why. And like the next couple of days, I was asking people like, did you see the shaman like running outside during the storm for a couple hours? And everybody was like, no, I didn't notice. And that was kind of weird. But later I found out he actually did it. I was like, did I imagine that? But later I found out he actually did it. And he was doing it because they just moved to that place, and he was just kind of checking around on the whole place for attacks from other bad shamans, brujos, bad spirits, just like cleaning the space, checking that everything is safe. It's like, it's a different world over there in the jungle, you know? It's a very different world. But that was it, basically. And I will just let you listen to my summary from the whole week of this first week of the ayahuasca retreat.
So the insights so far, like a little review of my insights throughout the week. My main intention is like to realize God and to realize love, and I'm like still listening to Bentinho and to Leo Gura about this stuff. And what I realized is that these 4 ceremonies this week, it's all a lesson of love. It's a lesson of love, and it's a lesson of understanding my ego mind, because the ego mind got bias and preference for one thing over another, but ultimate, infinite, absolute love embraces all. As Leo Gura said, love is the realization there's no difference between anything, no difference between pain and pleasure, no difference between suffering and happiness. So although I'm suffering, the experience is still one of love. And if I would be able to give up the preferences of my ego for pleasure or bliss over pain, there would be no problem. It would just be what it is. It would just be good. So yeah, I'm working on trying to lay down my biases, my egoistical preferences of wanting it any other way than it is. And that's hard. That's hardcore. It made me like realize like how full of ego and preference I am, how full of shit, basically trying to get that lesson of love, of higher love, of ultimate love, of infinite love, of embracing it all. And that's what it is, because that's what God is. God doesn't have a preference for blissful love over the painful love. No, God is just embracing it all. Reality is just embracing it all, and that's the state of consciousness that I'm trying to tap into, and that is beautiful. And still I'm cleaning my body and letting the healing that is happening happen. So that's what it is, and that's beautiful.
And that was it. That was the first week of the ayahuasca retreat, 14 days. Definitely stay tuned for the next one. The next one is the ceremony where I had my complete opening, and the second week was way more intense than the first one. It was a different kind of ayahuasca. It was not the black ayahuasca anymore. It was a fresh batch, and it was a very intense week. So definitely stay tuned for that. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to be notified when I publish the next video of this ayahuasca series. Download the worksheet if you're interested. All the preparation you need for your ayahuasca experience for free. And yeah, you can follow me on Instagram, Psychedelic Actualization. You can click right here to watch the playlist from the beginning if you haven't already, to learn about my intentions and the first night. And this was my second week. This was the completion of the first week of my 14-day ayahuasca retreat. I hope you enjoyed it. All the blessings to you. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.
La 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 la.